Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Pramanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naisakhim. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very meant for conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, by rendering of service unto the pure devotees of the Lord, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. A loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental song is established as an irrevocable fact. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 31. Varam vrini mahetapi Varam vrini mahetapi Nada tvat parataparan Nada tvat parataparan Nahi antas tvat vibhutinam Nahi antas tvat vibhutinam Sonanta iti giyase Sonanta iti giyase Varam vrini mahetapi Nada tvat parataparan Nahi antas tvat vibhutinam Sonanta iti giyase Varam vrini mahetapi Nada tvat parataparan Nahi antas tvat vibhutinam Sonanta iti giyase.
Varam vrini mahetapi Varam vrini mahetapi Nata tvat parataparat Nata tvat parataparat Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam Sonanta iti giyase Sonanta iti giyase Varam vrini mahetapi Varam vrini mahetapi Natha tvat parataparat Natha tvat parataparat Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam Sonanta iti giyase Sonanta iti giyase Varam vrini mahetapi Varam vrini mahetapi Nata tvat parataparat Nata tvat parataparat Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam Sonanta iti giyase Sonanta iti giyase
Varam vrini mahetapi
Varam vrini mahetapi
Nata tvat parataparat
Nata tvat parataparat
Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam
Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam
Sonanta iti giyase
Sonanta iti giyase
Varam vrini mahetapi
Varam vrini mahetapi
Natha tvat parataparat
Natha tvat parataparat
Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam
Nahyantas tvat vibhutinam
Sonanta iti giyase
Sonanta iti giyase
Varam,
Varam
benediction.
benediction
Vrini mahe,
Vrini mahe
we shall pray for.
we shall pray for
Adahapi,
Adapi
therefore.
therefore
Natha,
Nata
O Lord,
O Lord
toward
tvat
from you,
from you
paratha parat,
parataparat
beyond the transcendence,
beyond the
na,
Na
not, e, certainly,
certainly
anta, and tvat, your, vibhutinam, of opulences, sa, you, ananta, unlimited, iti, thus, giyase, are celebrated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Dear Lord, we shall therefore pray for your benediction, because you are the Supreme, beyond all transcendence, and because there is no end to your opulences. Consequently, you are celebrated by the name Ananta. Purport. There was no need for the Prachetas to ask any benediction from the Supreme Lord, because the devotees are simply satisfied by the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dhruva Maharaj practiced severe austerities and penances to see the Supreme Lord, and his intention was to receive benediction from the Lord. He wanted to acquire the throne of his father, or attain an even better position, but when he was actually in the presence of the Supreme Lord, he forgot everything. He said, "My dear Lord, I do not wish to ask any benediction." This is the actual position of the devotee. The devotee simply wants to be in the presence of the Supreme Lord, either in this world or in the next, and engaged in his service. That is the ultimate goal and benediction for the devotees. The Lord asked the Prachetas to pray for some benediction, and they said, "What kind of benediction should we pray for?" The Lord is unlimited, and there are unlimited benedictions. The purpose is that if one must ask for benediction, he must ask for unlimited benediction. The word Svat Parata, a very significance in this verse. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Paranta Parat. The word para means transcendental, beyond this material world. The impersonal Brahman effulgence is beyond this material world, and this is called Parampadam. Aruhya Kritrena Parampadam, Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Text 32. Merging into the impersonal effulgence of the Lord is called Parampadam. But there is a higher transcendental position, which is the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan eti Saptyate. Bhagavatam Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 11. The Absolute Truth is realized first as impersonal Brahman, then as Paramatma, and finally as Bhagavan. Thus the personality of Godhead Bhagavan is Paratta Parat, beyond Brahman and Paramatma realization. In this connection, Srila Jiva Goswami points out that Paratta Parat means better than the best. The best is the spiritual world, and it is known as Brahman. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is known as Param Brahman. Therefore, Paratta Parat means better than Brahman realization. As we will be explained in the next verse, the Prachetas plan to ask the Lord for something that has no limit. The Lord's pastimes, qualities, forms and names are unlimited. There is no limit to His name, forms, pastimes, creation and paraphernalia. The living entity cannot conceive of the unlimitedness of the unlimited. However, if living entities are engaged in hearing about the unlimited potencies of the Supreme Lord, they are factually connected directly to the unlimited. Such understanding of the unlimited becomes unlimited by hearing and chanting. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksoranmalitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vande Am Sri Gurun Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sangrajatam Sahagano Raghunathan Vidamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhano Sudhe Devi Pranamami Aripriye Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evecha Patitanum Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Varam Vrinimahe Tapi Nada Tvad Parataparat Nahi Anta Swad Vibhutinam So Nantahiti Giyase. Dear Lord, we shall therefore pray for your benediction, because you are the supreme beyond all transcendence, and because there is no end to your opulences. Consequently, you are celebrated by the name Ananta. So here, further we are hearing the declaration by the devotees Prachatas of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this way, the Lord is very happy with them, and they also very happy and satisfied in the presence of the Lord. Like yesterday, we've been trying to understand how not only Arjuna have accepted Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam Purusam Saswatyam Divyam Adim Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahuswa Risaye Sarva Deva Risi Naradas Tatha Asito Devalo Vyaso Swayam Chaiva Bravishyame. Arjuna have accepted Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not only that, he also cited that all the demigods and sages like Asita, Vyasa, Narada, everybody also have accepted Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Further, Arjuna said, Sarvam itaridham manyam yanmam vadasi kesava nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur devana dhanava. In the chapter 10, text 14, Arjuna also said that I totally accept whatever you have said. Neither the demigods nor the demon will understand your appearance in this world. Swayam evat manatmanam veta purusottama Bhuta bhavana bhutesu deva deva jagatpade. My dear Lord, you alone can understand about yourself through your internal potency. So we are very interested in knowing Krishna through Krishna consciousness. And to understand Krishna, we have to go into the Andaranga Sakti, the internal potency of Krishna. The chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is the internal potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here another thing, here Prabhupada explains that the devotees are very satisfied with everything and they do not incline to get any material benediction from the Lord. And Prabhupada gives an example of the Dhruva Maharaj, and we all know Dhruva Maharaj's story from the 4th canto, that how Dhruva Maharaj approached his father, Uttanapada, to take his favor. He wanted to sit on the lap of his father, but somewhere or other his stepmother was not very happy. Stepmother is a Suruchi, she was not very happy. And she told Dhruva that the lap of the king, Uttanapada, only belongs to her son. And if Dhruva wants to get favor of his father, he has to go and look for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and gets his favor first, so in next life he can be born as the favorite son of the father, then he can get all the facility in his life. So Dhruva was very disappointed. He went to his mother, Suniti, and he inquired from the mother how he can get the favor of his father. And Suniti says, whatever the stepmother has said, that to get the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is true that you have to seek for the mercy of Krishna. When you are favored by Krishna, not only your father, the whole world will be loving you. So in this way, Dhruva Maharaj have inquired from his mother, where can I look for Krishna? And she told that I've heard Saja saying that he is in the forest. So in this way he was searching and searching, and finally going to different forests, and he was met by Narada Muni. By the mercy of his mother, he was searching for Krishna. By the mercy of Krishna, and Krishna has sent a wonderful devotee, Narada Muni, to give the knowledge to Dhruva Maharaj. And this way, Dhruva Maharaj been told by Narada Muni, you are small boy, only 5 years old, you should go back to your house, should not take anything serious. Happens in the houses around. So he go back and he says, no, I'm very eager to meet the Supreme Lord. And in this way, Narada Muni saw the determination of this boy. And he kindly taught him, he described about the beauty of the Krishna. And in this way, he told him how to meditate on Krishna. So he was going through very severe penances for the first month. He was just eating some fruits, some berries. That also he was taking. Only every 3 days once he's eating. The second 3 months, 6 months, he was just drinking water. That also he was, drinking, every 6 days once. And the third month, he was just breathing. That also he was breathing every 9 days once. In this way, the 5th month, he has already, subdued. He already stopped breathing. And he was standing on his toe, one leg, and then he was just with great determination, he wants to meet Krishna. And all the demigods, they were very frightened that, there is no air flowing around. And it will be very dangerous for every living being. They approach the Lord, and Lord, told them not to worry, that you will meet Dhruva Maharaj in this way. Dhruva Maharaj, but by his great determination, he was able to meet the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada writes here that, actually he wanted to get a bigger throne than his father, and he wants to get a bigger benediction, more than the demigods and the three worlds. This was his intention, that he wants to materially get everything, but somewhere or other, when he saw Lord Krishna face to face, then he dropped the idea. He was purified, and he told the Lord, my dear Lord, that I came here to ask all this benediction, but after seeing you, I'm not interested in any of this benediction. He says that it's so difficult to meet the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not easy. So difficult to see Him, so difficult to satisfy Him. But somewhere or other, I've done all those things. I've succeeded in meeting Him and satisfying Him. But unfortunately, I'm like a dead man is seeking for a medical arrangement. Unfortunately, I'm seeking for something which is not useful for me in this life. The Lord can take me cross over this cycle of repeated birth and death. There is no requirement for me to come back to this world. The Lord can benedict me. This benediction of no more rebirth in the world, but unfortunately, I've come here to ask a few drop of grains from the Lord. Prabhupada writes beautifully that, somebody, a poor man, he goes to the emperor and he satisfies the emperor with his, conduct. And when the emperor is ready to give him something, and he just asks for a few drops of, ask Christ, So in this way, he was not at all interested in the material benediction. So somewhere or other, a devotee should understand this is a great education for us. Whatever material education, whatever material benediction, advancement we may have in our life, those things are not going to help us at the time of death. You may have a nice car, you may have a nice house, you may have a nice family. Deha patya kalatra desu atma sanyesu asasvati tasya pramata nidanam pasyanapina pasyati. In our own eyes we are seeing every day. Everybody's souls are flocking to the house of death. A person is dying, is surrounded by so-called soldiers of the family members. But unfortunately, with all these soldiers of wife, husband, children, relative and friends, nobody is able to protect this person. Somewhere or other, the Yamadutas are very intelligent, very powerful. Somewhere or other, with all these soldiers are trying to protect this person. Still, it takes away the life of the living being. So there is no point of trying to go after something which is not going to help you at the time of great need. And we know that the time of great need means that the time of dying, the time will come at any time. Very beautifully in the conversation of the Yaksha, that Pandavas were in the forest, they've been asking, there one Brahmana came and saw the Pandavas in the forest. The Brahmana told them, I was ready to do my puja, and I was keeping a kusa grass for the worship. And somewhere or other there was a deer came and took away the grass. So kindly help me to get back this grass, we have to do puja. So Yudhishthira Maharaj sent Nakula to go and have a look. And he went around, then he went to a pond, and he was thirsty, he wants to take some water to drink. Then the pond, a voice from the sky told Nakula, you only drink after answering my question. But Nakula, anyway, without answering, he just took the water and drank, and then he collapsed and died, left his body. Then he did not come back. Yudhishthira Maharaj sent, Sahadev. Sahadev went, the similar thing happened. And he sent Arjuna, and also sent Bhima. So all of them went somewhere or other. The Yaksha, the voice, have told them to answer the question first before they drink the water. But none of them, listened to the Yaksha. But anyhow, they drank the water. They all died, and they were, the body was there. And finally, Yudhishthira Maharaj came, and the Yaksha told Yudhishthira Maharaj that, this pond belongs to me. So if you want some water, you have to take the question from me, then answer the question, and you drink the water. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, he has got a principle of dharma in his life. Devotee means, not just talking and talking and talking. There has to be an application of what we are talking. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, he said that, acharaha panakare. He said somebody speak very nicely, but they do not act nicely. Somebody act very nicely, but they do not speak nicely. He said this is not very good. If you can do the both, speak nicely and act nicely, you become the guru for the entire world. So somewhere the Yudhishthira Maharaj told Yaksha, I understand what you say, this pond belongs to you. I cannot accept, take anything from you without your permission. So now start the question. So Yaksha asked Yudhishthira, what is that more heavier than the earth, which earth is carrying the burden of the, every creature. What is the most heavier than the earth? Then Yudhishthira say, mother. I say, mother carries the child in the womb. Mother carries a great responsibility in the family. She is the backbone. Arjuna say, kula saya pranasyanti, kula dharma sanatana, dharma nastam kula Krishna. Adharma bhibhavati uta, in the chapter 1, text 39. Arjuna said the family foundation depends on a woman, of a mother, a wife. If wife is not protected by the man, and there will be unwanted population in the world. So importantly here, Yudhishthira answered that mother is the most, greater, heavier than the earth. She holds a very great responsibility because she becomes the first guru for the child. When she is carrying the child in the womb, whatever consciousness she is having in her, it passes to the child. Now he asks, what is more higher than the heavens? He says, Father, because Father, the man goes around to any distance to make some money to provide for the family. Of course, today's world things have changed, but you get some idea. There was a girl in India, a 16-year-old girl, she was wearing a short skirt and walking in the city with a friend. So the friend, saw that the girl is wearing a very short skirt in India. It has become a little bit, sentiments. Of course, some places in India like Goa, like Mumbai, they're a little bit, like a Western world. But generally in India, when they see a girl wearing a short skirt, moves around, people, may not be that, happy to see. And here the girl, 16-year-old girl walking with, short skirt. So the friend asked her, no, don't your mother become angry because you are wearing a short skirt? And the girl answered, she said, yeah, definitely my mother will become angry because I'm wearing my mother's short skirt. She's wearing a mother's skirt. So now you don't even know in Kali Yuga whether you have to advise the mother, whether you have to advise the father, whether you have to advise the children. Prayena paisa sabya kalo asmin yuge jana manda sumanda madayo manda habagya upadrita samirada. The Kali Yuga has become so influenced that some other people become so dull-minded, they don't even know what is right thing for in their life. So here he says that, what is more, higher than the heaven. Yudhishthira says father is more higher because he goes around to any distance to make some money to provide for the family. Those days in the Vedic culture, there's a system everybody learned to have, to understand their duty. A wife has got a different duty than the man has got a different duty than the wife. As parents, they've got a different duties towards the children have got a different duty towards the parents. So all the internal affairs in the family are taken care by the woman, by the wife. Whatever outside responsibility is taken care by the man. So if you go to India, generally the woman keeps all the key for the, for the treasure box, where the money and jewelries and everything, and you'll see the keys hanging, on the hips of the lady. So generally, they know what is their role in life. So in this way here, we say, Father. Then Yaksha asked, Yudhishthira Maharaj, what is more faster than the wind? What moves more faster than the wind? Yudhishthira Maharaj says the mind goes more faster. And we see in the Mahabharata, the Karna is the giver, he is a giver of charity, he never said no to anybody. And one time he was bathing near the well, and he was holding a small pot of oil on his left hand, and he was taking the oil on his right hand, applying to the body. He was taking his bath. And that time there was a Brahmana came and asked some charity from Karna, and Karna never said no at any time. So now when this old Brahmana asked for some charity, and Karna was holding the oil, the pot of oil on his left hand, and he gave it to the old man. So the old man told Karna, he said, Karna, you know the Vedas, you know the Dharma, that when you are giving something, charity, you have to give it by your right hand. Only to the enemy you give it to the left hand. So how even knowing the Vedas, you have done this thing, that you have given a charity from your left hand. And Karna says, I understand your question, I understand that we should not give anything charity to the left hand, but somewhere or other you came, you asked for the charity, I had this pot on my left hand, immediately I gave it to you because I was in fear. By the time I changed the oil to my right hand, I may change my mind. He said that is how the mind is going, that speed. So Yudhishthira says, the mind goes more faster than the wind. And again Yaksha asked Yudhishthira, who is more happiest man in the world? And Yudhishthira says, a man who is satisfied, in himself of everything, is very happy. And the Yaksha asked Yudhishthira, what is the disease of the human being that has no end? He says, greediness. Greed of a man has no ends. And he says, how a man is known as a rich man. He said, when a more man is, understand it's enough, and he's a very rich man. And he asks, what makes a man to become a good friend for the living being? He said, when a man gives up the pride in himself, he gets a good friends for himself. And he asked him, what is that, becomes so difficult to control by the human being? He says, anger becomes more difficult to control by the human being. Dhyayatum visayam pumsam sangate supajayate sanga sanjayate kama kama krodha pijayate krodha bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti vibrama smriti brahmsar buddhinasar buddhinasar vinasyati. That in the chapter 2, text 62, Krishna explained to Arjuna, by contemplating the mind on the object of the senses, whatever you are meditating in your mind, by the contemplating of the mind on the object of the senses, the mind becomes attached to it. And from that attachment, now desire comes. That somewhere or other I must get it. And from the desire now comes the anger. And from the anger becomes the bewilderment of memory. When the memory becomes bewildered, you lose your intelligence. When you lose your intelligence, then you take birth again in this material world. Raga, dvesa, vimuktesu, indriyan, visayan, indriya charan. Atmavasir vidyatma prasadam adhigacchati. In the chapter 2, text 64, Krishna explains, Raga, dvesa, vimuktasu, visayan, indriya charan. When a person gives up the attachment to this material world, when he gives up the dvesa, the jealousy, enmity in the material world, and when he gets the mercy, prasadam adhigacchati, must get the prasadam, the mercy of Krishna. Then he says, then he automatically crosses over the entanglement of the material world. So in this way, that Yaksha asked him again, what is that, happening every day in people's life? And Yudhishthira says, there are every day people are dying in the world. And Yaksha asks, what is the most amazing things of the world? He said, there are every day people are dying, but there are people thinking that I will not die. This is the most amazing thing. Then Yaksha asked him, who's your friend when you are in the house? Yudhishthira says, your wife is a good friend when you are in the house. A man is blessed if he can get a good wife. He is blessed if he can get a good child. He is blessed if he gets a Vaishnava association. The three things, if anybody can get, his life is blessed. Your life becomes very hellish if your wife is not settled in your family life. They are the upliftment of everything in the world. But when they are in trouble, when they are not settled, when the mind is not very settled, then become a problem for the whole world. So that is why the woman to be taken care very nicely. Even for a joke, a man should not raise his hand to beat the wife. He cannot humiliate, the wife in front of other people. Just like he has respected his mother, he has respected his sisters. Similar way, he should respect the wife. Any prayer man do without being the wife seated next to him, he only gets 50% of merits from the prayer. That is the Sastra. Somewhere or other, women have been given a very high position in the society because they are the one going to give birth to a children which will be filled up the world, and they have to give birth to a wonderful children so that the world will be more peace and happy. And to do that, they have to be very peaceful. They've got to be very happy. So in every situation, Manu says that to keep your wife happy, that every day you give her some gift. So you have to give her some gift, keep the momentum going. Even you can give her, whatever gift, a small gift. if you think your wife, likes the mango from India, and after your work, you buy a mango and go and give it to her. Tell her, I know that you like mango from Bangladesh. So now the season has come, and I took all the trouble, even though there were policemen, there were every traffic jam, but I stopped the car because I thought of you. Keep the momentum. Otherwise, material world, day by day, everything go down and down and down. Beautifully, Sankaracharya says that, Angam Khalitam. There are different, elements in the body of human being. There are no hearing, there is no seeing power, there is no breathing power, there is a talking power, walking power. The human being, every day, this, day by day, when they're getting old, all this, power of their limbs of the body go down, go lower and lower and lower and lower, except the desires, So in this way, Yakshat asked Yudhishthira, who's your friend when you're in the house? He said, wife is a good friend when we are at home. Who's your friend when you are traveling? He said, the knowledge you have gained in your life is a good friend in your life. And who's your good friend when you are dying? He says, when you are when you are sick, who's your good friend? And he says the doctor is a good friend, the nurses are good friend, the medicines are good friend, and a sick person himself is a good friend for himself. Because the doctor prescribes the medicine, the nurse gives you the medicine, and if you do not take the advice of the doctor, don't take the medicine, and he says no use. So he said, for a person who's sick, the doctor is a good friend, the nurses are good friend, the medicines are good friend, and you yourself a good friend. And finally he asked him, who's the friend of a person who's in the dying bed, a person is dying. And for that one, Yudhishthira say, the dharma, the practices, of a devotional service a man performed in his life, that is only his good friend, that's the only thing going to come along with him. So in this way we have to understand, we have got important subject to practice, that is practice Krishna consciousness. And we have to understand that everything in Krishna consciousness is very sublime, provided that we follow the subject matter according to Guru, Sadhu and Sastra. So now come to this subject matter, devotee can satisfy Krishna by 30 means. This is the question I've asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj to Narada Muni in the Canto 7th, chapter 11, text 2 to 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yudhishthira Maharaj have asked Narada Muni, Bhagavan, Srotam Ichchami, Nirnam Dharmam Sanatanam Varnashrama Yuktam Yat Puman Vindate Param. Yudhishthira Maharaj asked, Narada Muni, please tell me the ultimate goal of human life. Please let me know what is that general occupational duty of a living being, what is the social occupational duty of a human being, what is the spiritual occupational duty of a human being. You must know how to take care of your body, you must know how to take care of your health, your soul, and you must know how to interact with the people out there. So this is called the Sanatan Dharma. In the Canto 7, chapter 11 text, for 6, again, it has been mentioned that Yudhishthira Maharaj asked, Narada Muni, please tell me what is the ultimate goal of human life. Please let me know what is the general occupational duty of the living being. When you go out there, you must know how to behave with the people out there. True or not? So then when you, with yourself, you know how to take care of your soul, you must know how to take care of your body. And in this way, he said, Bhagavan Natva Bhagavate Jaya Lokanam Dharmam Sethave Vakshayase Sanatana Dharmam Narayanam Param Surtam Pumsi. He says that, my dear Narada Muni, I will tell you about the Sanatana Dharma, your eternal constitutional position of the living being. I'll tell you today. He says that, there are nirnam ayam paro dharma, sarvatma samudadrita trimsha lakshanavan pasuvan, sarvatma yena tusyati. Narada Muni said there are 30 principles are given for the human life. That is called a Sanatana Dharma. We are practicing Sanatana Dharma. So we must know what is that, 30 principle of Sanatana Dharma. And the 7th canto, chapter 11, text 8 to 12, Narada Muni explains Satyam Daya Tapa Saucham Titikseksha Samodama Ahimsa Brahmacharyam Cha Tyaga Swadhyayam Arjavam Santosam Samadrikseva Gramyeyo Paramam Sane Nirnam Viparye Yaksha Maunam Atma Vimarsanam Annadayo Samvibhago Bhutebhyo Cha Yada Artha Tesvatma Devata Buddhi Sutaram Nirshu Pandava Sravanam Kirtanam Chasya Smaranam Mahatam Gate Sevachya Vanatse Dasyam Sakyam Atmam Samarpanam. He said there are 30 principles for human being. In this way, by performing these 30 principles, the Supreme Lord becomes satisfied, and the human who have applied the 30 principles, they also become satisfied. Here in the Purport Prabhupada writes, the devotees, the prachetas, they are not interested in anything material, because devotees are already satisfied, by the interaction in Krishna consciousness. So the 30 principle is that, number 1, you should be very truthful all the time. Number 1. Number 2, we must be very kind to every living being in the world. The 3rd principle is austerity. The 4th principle is cleanliness, clean inside your heart, cleanse in your body. The 5th principle is tolerance. The 6th principle is to distinguish between good and bad. You must know what is good and what is bad. The 7th principle is to control your mind and body and speech. The 8th principle is to control your senses. The 9th principle to be free from any kinds of violence. The 10th principle is to be very simple. The 11th principle is to give up the object of sense gratification. The 12th principle is to do some charity and study the Vedas. The 13th principle is to satisfy it in yourself. The 14th principle, try to keep yourself happy in your life. The 15th principle is to do some service to the sadhus, the saintly peasants. And the 16th principle, not to waste time in the so-called philanthropic, bodily concept of welfare work. And in the 17th principle is to not wasting time. The 18th principle, to keep yourself maunam, silent. When there's required to talk, you talk, otherwise you don't have to speak anything. And the 19th principle is to try to understand the difference between body and soul. And the 20th principle is to give some prasadam, food distribution to everybody without any discrimination. The 21st, 21 principle is to understand you are not a demon, you are divine by nature. And the 22nd principle is that, to hear the subject matter of Krishna consciousness, hearing. 23 is chanting, 24th is remembering, 25th, doing some menial service for Krishna. And 26 is to do puja for Krishna. 27 is to bow down for Krishna. And 28 is to be a servant of Krishna. 29 to be a friend of Krishna. And 30, give your very self to Krishna. This is the 30 principle. When Narada Muni says, if you do this, practice this 30 principle, that satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in return you yourself become very satisfied. This practice of Krishna consciousness. So we have to go and open your Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7 and Chapter 11 and text 8 to 12. There is the verses, 5 verses are there, and the 30 principle has been explained in the chapters. So kindly understand why the devotees are very satisfied, because they have satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like the leaf and trees of leaf and branches of a tree is healthy, means the root is very healthy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one day he saw his mother was taking some sweet, wanted to offer to the demigods. And he told the mother, what is the requirement for you to go and offer the sweet to the demigods, Better you offer to the Supreme Personality of God. He says that, when pouring a water, for the root of the tree, the branches and leaves become, satisfied. By giving food to the stomach, the whole body become healthy. By rendering service to Krishna, all the creation becomes satisfied. So in this way that, a devotee are very satisfied because they are always, conscious of Krishna. Like yesterday we have spoken, Maya Saktamana Pada Yogam, that we should be totally conscious of Krishna and mind should be attached to Krishna. And that can be done through the devotional practice of Krishna consciousness. So any questions, any comments?
Yeah. Thank you for lecture. How we can all time see temporary of this material world? Because usually Maya covering us and we forget about it.
How we should always see the material world is temporary. Everything is only possible by Krishna consciousness. Mahaprabhu said, Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Haya Andhakara, like Krishna said. He says that when there is sunlight, there is no darkness. When there is darkness, there is no sunlight. So if you have Krishna consciousness, automatically you are free from Maya. And when you are thinking Maya, that you are free, you are not free from Maya consciousness. So only way to understand that Maya is temporary, Krishna says, surrender to me and keep yourself busy in Krishna consciousness. In the chapter 8 text, 7. Krishna says, Tasmat sarvesu kalesu mamanusmaran yudhyacha mayarpita mano buddhir mam evasyasi asamsan. While carrying on your duty in your life, with your mind and intelligence, always think of me. And surely you'll come back to me. So every time when the mind is going out from your control, you should bring it back under your control. When suddenly, the other thoughts are coming in, then, stop and then, bring it back by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. When you are chanting Hare Krishna, your mind is running away from you. Stop chanting and tell the mind, come back to Krishna. Whenever your mind is going out, you stop chanting and bring it back again. Revive. In this way, practice, Asam Sayam Mahabhavo, Mano Nugriham Chalam. Abhyasanastu Kaunteya, Vairagya Chagriyate. Because Arjuna told Krishna, Ide Tasyaham Manne. He said that, that Chanchalava Sitam Krishna, Mano Griya Chalam. Abhyasana Yukta Dhvenu. He says that the mind, very unsteady, unsettled, how to bring the mind under control. Chanchalami mana Krishna pramati balavadritam tasyaham nigraham manne vayuriva suduskaram. He says how the mind is going more faster than the wind, how to bring the mind under control. And Krishna told in the chapter 6 that he says asamsayam mahabhavo manodur nigraham chala abhyasanastu kaunteya vairagyana cha griyate. That abhyasa means by constant practice, and vairagya by detachment. When the mind going, bring it back. Don't let it to become attached to another thing. You must practice. When it's going, you say, no more, come back. Educate the mind. So Krishna says, Arjuna says, very difficult, of course very difficult, Krishna says, but by constant practice and by detachment, one will be able to do this thing. So once, you have trained your mind in that manner, now your mind becomes your good friend. Udare atmanatmanam natmanam avasadi. The chapter 6, text 5 onward, Krishna explains, that your friend and enemy are seated, in your own mind. When you control the mind, it's become a friend to you. When you fail to do so, it becomes, enemy to you. So, practice and practice and practice. And Prabhupada says, Bhakti Siddhantam Saraswati Maharaj says, when you wake up in the morning, beat your mind with your shoe for 100 times. Before you go to bed, beat your mind with the broomstick for 100 times. So when you wake up, that means you have to remind your mind all the time that, come back. Because you are empowered to achieve so much in your life, because you are not, Bahiranga, you are not the Maya Sakti. Somewhere or other, you are also Andaranga Sakti, your spiritual, potency of Krishna. Somewhere or other, due to your misuse of your minute independence, you have become marginal Sakti, Tatata Sakti. But you can go back again to the Andaranga Sakti, spiritual Sakti again, by proper association of the devotees and by proper practice of Krishna consciousness. And there are things are very favorable, utsaha, nishaya, dhairya, that being enthusiastic in the Krishna consciousness, being confident in Krishna consciousness, being patient in Krishna consciousness, by following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, by practicing Krishna consciousness for the development of Krishna consciousness, not just for the sake of just doing it, In this way, by keeping yourself away from, unwanted association, and it becomes very favorable to uplift, your consciousness. It is possible, provided that, there is what you wanted to do. And little practice, just like, before becoming a devotee, you don't even know you got a mind, which is, unsettled and, going everywhere. True or not? Before becoming a devotee, you don't even know there's a Maya. We have become one with Maya. And today, there's Maya, the mind is going away from you. That is, that shows that you made some progress in Krishna consciousness. When Haridas Thakur was in the prison, he was happily chanting Hare Krishna. So the fuller another, inmates, he said, we are in the prison house, why you are happy chanting Hare Krishna? And Haridas asked him again, what please repeat? He said, we are in the prison house. How you are happy chanting Hare Krishna? He asked him again, can you repeat again? What you said? He said, we are in the prison house. How you are happily chanting Hare Krishna? So he said, your life is blessed. He said, there are people living in the whole material prison house out there. They don't even know they're living in the prison house. At least now your life is blessed. You all know that you are in the prison house. So like that, because of your chanting, because of, Vaishnava mercy, somewhere or other, you understand what is good, what is bad in the world. Somewhere or other you understand what is Maya, what is Krishna in the world. Somewhere or other you understand, your mind is giving you trouble. Somewhere you understand it's not easy to control the mind. And somewhere or other you understand there are ways to control, bring the mind under control, all these things. And in the 6th chapter, chapter, 6th chapter, text 20 to 23, Krishna explained Yastro Paramata Chittam Nirodha Yogam Sevaye. Nirodham Yogam Sevaye Pasyanti Atmatusyanti. He says that a person, when he controls his mind, there is the result will be there. He says the important thing is a person who can control their mind, and the mind will help them to see the Atma, the soul inside them. And that moment the transformation takes place. Nirodham Sevaye. So in this way that, there will be a result in our life in Krishna consciousness. And you must try to bring the mind under your control, and mind will help you to see the soul. When you see yourself inside you, then you will see that, nothing else, exists, outside. Is all within Krishna consciousness, is nothing else. So any other thing here?
Thank you, Maharaj, for the lecture. I wanted to ask the question about gratefulness, thankfulness. Thankfulness. Or gratefulness. Is it the same?
Yeah.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
What is more
you
proper
say thanks
to say?
And you're grateful, then you say thanks. Yeah.
So I could see that persons who are unsatisfied, for them it's difficult to be thankful.
Yeah.
So I also think about, I want to ask how we could develop. Is it possible that we could develop thankfulness, or it's part of our nature, character? Somehow I could not understand it.
So there is a prayer, there's a alvas, where the Lord has appeared as a alvar, the great, devotees. The ornaments of the Lord's body have appeared as a alvar in South India. There are 12 alvas there, So there's a prayer by the halwa every day. They pray, Palland, Pallayarathand, that normally we utter the prayer. He says that he comes to the Lord, he tells the Lord, I bless you today that you live for millions of years. He blessed the Lord to live for millions of years. Palland, Pallayarathand, Palakodi Nurayaram, Malanda Tintol, Manivanavon, Chevaricha Victor Kap. He said that, why you have to live for millions of years? Because you are everything for us. You are my father, you are my mother. A children wants to be better, properly situated in the family. The parents must be properly situated. If the parents are doing well, the children will be doing well. If the parents are wealthy, the children will be enjoying. The parents are poor beggar, the children also will be suffering. He says, my dear Lord, you are my father and my mother. And you should be living, blessed. I bless you, living for millions of years. And while you are living for millions of years, never forget me. Let me also, be, a part, with you. He says that, you have given me a wonderful, some food to eat. Thank you for giving me food. You have given me some, ornaments to decorate the body. Thank you so much for giving me these ornaments. And you have given me a different perfumes. Because the body, by nature, at a point it will come a bit smelly. But you have given a perfume, soap, whatever, you have. So he said, thank you so much, He said, not only that you have given me a food, you given me ornament, you give everything. At the same time, if I just eat and sleep, people talk so bad about me, but you have given me also some service to perform for you. For the food I've eaten, which has been given by you, for the food to be digested, I must do something. So you have given me some service, In this way, he says that, when before coming to you, I was a very bad fellow. I don't have any good characters with me. But after coming to you, I become a good man. Thank you so much, giving me food, giving me clothing, giving me, ornaments, perfume, and giving me a good, attitude. And thank you so much, that, at every situation, that you have kept me, in your service. And I bless you today, you live for millions and millions and millions of years. So normally people when go to the temple, they pray for themselves. I need, this help. My children need this thing, my family. Always people asking something for themselves. Here the devotee blessing is giving blessing to the Lord. You live for million years. So every day when you are uttering this mantra, why people become ungrateful and not thanking anybody? Because originally they are ungrateful to Krishna. That is where everything is started. Krishna has given you everything in his kingdom. Still you are ungrateful. You are thinking, not enough what he has given. You wanted to go away. So first thing, we've been ungrateful to Krishna. And that has extended to many other people in the world. So now you got to become a grateful and thankful. You must re-establish the thanks and gratefulness toward Krishna. When the root is properly situated, the branch and the leaf of the tree also properly situated. And that is how you learn some prayer. Like Kundi Devi says, Visan Mahagni Purusada Darsinat Asat Sabaya Panavasa. Kundi Devi, she said, my dear Lord, the Kauravas, Duryodhan, they give a poison into the food of my children, but you have protected them. They throw them in the river, you have protected them. They trying to burn them in the house, that you have protected them. And there were so many different dangers and demons, in the forest, but you have protected my children. So she praised Krishna in many different Toyime, Nanne Visya, Matir Madhu, like the Ganges river flowing into the ocean without any hindrance. Similarly, let my attraction drawn unto you, without being diverted to anything else. And she said, Janmaswarya, Sruta Srubir, Edamana Padapumani. She said, my dear Lord, those who are after the materialistic way of life, of a good family, a good, education, wealth and beauty, for them it's very difficult to approach your lotus feet. Those who are exhausted of this materialistic way of life, they are very easy to come to you. Vipada Santuta Saswa Tatra, my dear Lord, again and again ask for the danger. Because when there's a danger, you will be there. When you are there, there's a question of danger. Kevayam napam rupabhyam yadibisa pandava. My dear Lord, if you go away from here, all the name and fame and opulences we have got with our children, everything will be gone, taken away from you. Because of your lotus feet have touched the, the land, that is, it's flourishing like anything. Because your glands are on us, our life is flourishing like anything. So she has made a lot of beautiful prayer. So you come to every day in front of the Lord, you utter one prayer. In this way, become grateful to Krishna for what He has given you. Then you will be able to be grateful to everything else. And the very root is rotting. How are you going to take care of the branch, the leaves and other things? So our main, problem in the world is that, we are ungrateful to Krishna. We don't even have time to say thanks to Krishna. Every day people are asking so many things from God, and nobody is saying, thank you so much for giving, I've already got enough, and how can I do something for you? So unless you perform a nice, unalloyed devotional service, otherwise you won't be able to have that kind of, clarity in your life.
Maharaj, now I want to ask you, I knew some persons that were very grateful to Krishna and that were understanding whatever comes is given through Krishna, and they came to some point, now they're looking things to be given to them from outside world, and they became ungrateful to Krishna and ungrateful to other personalities. So what's happened?
So now, when you do some service for Krishna, there's a devotional service in the mode of ignorance, mode of passionate, mode of goodness. So when you're doing something for Krishna without any expectation, Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Ahaitaki, that you don't have any expectation in return from Krishna. When you do it in the mode of pure goodness, you remain the same all the time. When you do in the mode of goodness, mode of passionate, mode of ignorance is fluctuating all the time. So somewhere or other somebody is doing some service to Krishna, but it may be conditional love. But you wanted to remain all the time as a devotee of the Lord, you have to become unconditional. Conditional means you do this for me, I do that for you. When a person do not follow the condition, and you are out from my life. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, the breeze is bringing, Adhadayo Vrajesa Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kasid Upasana Vrajavada Vargena Kalpate Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumanattu Mahan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bring the premam, the unalloyed, unconditional love. But other loves are conditional. So anytime you can change your mind. Because you are still acting within the three modes of nature. Because of the expectation that you get disappointed. So when you do something without expectation, that's what even within the friends, you should not lend him the money. He is in some difficulty, comes to you for some loan, and you got money, so you shouldn't lend him the money. But if possible, you should give him the money. He said, look, I had some money, I can give it to you, but it's not a loan. I can help you this time with this thing. If I can help you, I'll help you, but it's not loan anything. Next time you want to give back, you can give back, otherwise I'm not expecting. So when you do that kind of thing, your friendship always remain the good, But you give him the money, he said, you must return the money to me, to your friends, And when he doesn't return, he become enemy. So in the same way, Krishna is the ultimate friend of the living. When you come to him, there's no condition. So when we are doing it, with some expectation, that breaks the relationship. Okay, thank you so much. It's getting late, I think. Hare Krishna, we'll meet again tomorrow morning. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanande.
His Holiness Bhakti Mukunda Maharaj.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Somewhere the time goes, I thought, 8:30 somebody coming. Yes. You okay? And your son is okay? Son is okay? This day is okay?
А у вас есть автомат.
Yeah.
Да, и вы можете мне его дать. Да. Чтобы, допустим, я мог защититься. Но вы говорите, что у тебя есть свой автомат. Тебе можно, просто его нужно отмыть мантрой Харе Кришна.